everybody, Anthony Dodge, Maltrain Outsider, the American Outsider, with another video about grass. Based on the last video, I think everybody's tired of it, but I'm going to keep posting anyhow. I did do some more areas, and I thought I'd show it before everybody gets to see it in the live stream on Friday if I get this out in time. And I'm very happy with this. It's been really cool to see something other than brown paint and pink foam board over here. Another thing is, right after I made that video where I talked about the river's definitely out, Joyce, about 12 hours after I posted the video that evening, Joyce was like, well, could you do this? Do you have to do this down? And my attitude, of course, is, well, it's the Vaser. The bridges over the Vaser are much higher and blah, blah, blah. And she suggested something I had thought of in the past and kind of nixed, but now with changes in track, I could snake a little thing and just cut out the foam board and not go into the support structure, just the foam board. It means there'll be a shallow river at least it might be a little scenic break. A river scene with the bridges might be a nice. So the bridges back, the bridge and the river are back in play. Nothing's decided again. So I'm back to two things undecided, which will slow me down. So let me show you the bit I've done. It's quite expansive, really. It's going to be a big change on the live stream today. And I'm really excited. So let me share that with you and then come back with some thoughts afterwards. So on to me and my latest work. Okay, today is Tuesday, April 29th, I think. I'll correct it if not. And when I did the last video, I wasn't sure if I'd do any more, but last night, or yesterday, I went ahead and filled in this section and the rest of this section around. And then last night and today, this was already done in here, but now I'm extending it all through the curves. And this is as far as I can go from here. Anything I want to do in there, I have to come up through there. And while I'm pointing at this, still haven't decided on that. But right after I did the video and said the river's totally gone, Joyce looked at the situation and suggested something I was thinking of and then decided not. But now she's got me thinking about it again, that I could kind of put the river and curve it there, but only take it down the foam board. Instead of taking out the whole table, just take out the foam board and have it as a shallow river. It wouldn't be the Vaser, and that's what I'm thinking. The Vaser, it's got to be deeper because the bridges are relatively high over the Vaser. But if I just want a river and pretend, then yeah, I could probably just cut the foam board and angle the river through here a bit, and that way I might still have a river scene. So go figure. Every time I think I've made a concrete decision, something comes up. So I'm back to 50-50 thinking about it. So it'll either be no river or it'll be a skinny river that we'll call Vaser Light. Sounds like a beer. But anyhow, and then obviously someday I'll have to do all that. Now, once I go into this area, especially the parking area, it's going to be mud. A couple of people, 3 or 4 people, have said, well, you're doing all this grass, but in between the tracks like this, there won't be grass. Right, but there also wouldn't be 11 lanes across like this either. So I had to split reality. I could always go back and put a little mud color where the tracks are really narrow here. I can do that easily. Heck, I could technically do it with just a little bit of brown wash. And maybe in this section where the lanes are really close together. But again, this is not reality, so this can't be reality. There's no such thing as 11 lanes across except going into a station, just random flying by. So the scenics, the track, by design cannot be realistic. And so I just want some terrain in that makes it bridge the gap a little better than just track on foam board. So it's a compromise. I won't even say an unhappy compromise. It's a positive compromise, because in the end, it was more important for me to have as many lanes running, even if it's not realistic. I'm about running as many trains as I can and not having 2 trains running through a real world. But there are parts I want real. I want Dumb and Horse to be real, which I'll get to once I'm done with all of this and get back to the Fowler car. And then this Bremen Hanover, I want it to have a sense of reality. And this is what I'm talking about. If I take this loop from the turnout, I would just replace the turnout with a curve or whatever I do, and then just take this section out right here and then bring this down here straight. I gain all this area where I have the farm as a scenic detail. I threw the farm in just to fill some scenery and have something scenic when trains go by on my cameras. But my plan is that the farm will go over there. And then I can either extend the city this way, or I can elect to leave the train in. But then to me, this feels like almost wasted space. I don't want it just to be another green field. And if I park this, it gives me just that much more space to park more of my shorter trains, or trains that you're not supposed to take apart, such as the rail jets and the ICEs. Well, ICE is on the table right now. So that's what I'm looking at. But again, as I ended my video from Monday, I'm happy. I really am borderline ecstatic to just have this. Is it now replacing a sea of brown with a sea of green? I'm sure some people say that. But again, I've still got bushes, weeds, some grass. I'm not going to put a lot of grass in here, static grass. I'm putting scatter grass, but not static grass. I'll put just random bits of static grass through here, because the grass doesn't grow that high in that part of Germany. Most guys I know say, yeah, I mow the lawn maybe twice a summer. So yeah, the grass doesn't grow that high. It's a very sandy soil in that region. But once you get out in the wild, things tend to be a little bit more. But hey, I'm babbling there. So yeah, just more and more scenery, which again, better than pink and brown foam. Obviously, my pull-out section's going to be a bit of a challenge. It is what it is. All right. Back to me. To paraphrase somebody that was being a little cheeky, I've replaced a big brown area with a big green area. But whereas they said not much of an improvement, I see it as a drastic improvement. Some people you just can't please, but the only person I need to please is me. Everybody else is free to tune off. So it's really coming together nicely. And this is just the first layer. I'll come back with static grass in some places. I will put weeds and shrubs, but that's way down the road. I have to finish all the grass work and make decisions about you know, the river's back into play again now. Thanks, Joyce. And whether I'm going to take that little station out or not, because I playing tennis with it, but I can keep going with the areas I know will be grass. And, you know, somebody did comment, well, you know, when the lanes are like this and this and this, you want it to have grass between them. No, you probably wouldn't. It's not very realistic. It can't be realistic. Having 11 lanes next to each other isn't very realistic. But if you don't know, autism, ADD, I need lots of trains moving. That's what I built this layout for. I didn't build it for realism. I came into this hobby late in life in my 50s with no background other than I used to do wargaming, and in 3D wargaming I made scenery. So I think I know a few tricks on making things look realistic to the level I want them to be. The only thing that had to be truly realistic was my Delmar station, and achieved. You know, my happiest comments are the people that watch the videos and it's maybe their first time seeing the channel, and they look at the live stream or the videos I post and they go, that looks like the Delmenhorst station. I'm like, it is. And they're like, whoa, that, yeah. But the rest of it was, how many trains can I run? That was the goal. How many trains could I run? I wasn't worried about realism. I wasn't worried about scenery. I wasn't worried about, well, technically no, I wasn't worried about any of that. How many trains? Why do you run 5 lanes? Because I couldn't fit 6 and still have the little Bremen station I wanted to put in, and also the parking area I wanted to put in. You know, this is the 10th iteration of my table. It started as a 4x8, then a 4x12, and then a 4x16 and a 4x20, and then it was no longer a long rectangle. It became the first iteration of this giant U shape, and then I changed the track designs again and ripped everything off and reset the table. I made the middle section a little wider, and yeah, it's gone through a lot of changes, and I've not worked on the scenic part other than all the buildings I built and try to make it look like a city and kind of reminiscent of Delmenhorst on this side. But yeah, I'm very pleased with how it's looking, but I am still a work in progress. And of course, I'm working very fast on this in some ways. Some people might have had this all done in 3 days, but I have to do a little bit at a time, make sure everything's working, mix everything properly, get the right colors and that they're consistent, which I'm tedious about. But also back and hands only give me so much time before they just get so bad. My vacuum cleaner is demanding excessive overtime pay because of how often I have to use it, because I go to put scatter in and then the hand goes blah, and I just throw scatter over all the track, and I have to vacuum it all up and make sure I'm really cleaning near the points. Yeah, it's been crazy, but it's a good crazy. When I see the results, it's why I keep going, because I'm happy with it, even if it's not realistic yet. And it never will be realistic, because only my insane mind put 6 running lanes and 5 parking lanes next to each other in a, 2.5 foot wide area? You know, that doesn't exist in the real world anywhere other than in a station. But I need to have lots of trains moving. I need to have that. That's what I need. So, I want to say, Auf Wiedersehen, choose happy trains. Take care, everybody.